Hello there, it's Manic Pixie Danny, and welcome back to another episode of Creator Chats. Are you an aspiring content creator, musician, or podcaster, or maybe all of the above? Well, in this episode of Creator Chats, we're gonna talk with Mabuhay Mix. She's a female musician, podcaster, and content creator, and she's gonna share with us her secrets to her growth and being a woman in the music industry. If you want to find out more about that, then keep on watching. Once again, this is Mabuhay Mix, and this episode is about being a woman in music, self-doubt, and a lot more. So welcome to the Creator Chats video podcast with Gank Studios. It's so nice to have you here. Mabuhay Mix, can you tell us more about yourself and what you do?
Hi guys, so my name is Mix Phoenix, or also known as Mabuhay Mix, and among other things, I do music and then I make content, and I also have a publication called The New Hue. So yeah,
In this age, all kinds of artists, even musicians, need to have an online presence, right? So, how did you grow your following on social media?
that was an accident. It wasn't supposed to happen.
A happy accident.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had kind of like a knack for making like videos since like in high school, especially when it was like for projects and stuff like that. I was very blessed to be in a very good environment, like with other creative people with the same level of stupid humor. Not naman obnoxious humor, but like stupid
Okay,
humor.
I love
Like
that.
you could just like I had a group of friends where like we could just laugh until like our faces hurt or our stomachs hurt. And like I feel like that was like the healthiest time of my life where like I would make jokes with them at that point. Because of that, I'm able to bring that here to like my adult life. And I'm glad that people still appreciate it because that's my humor. And what people see on my social media, that's actually me. It's not like some personality who I'm trying to be. It's not like some character who I'm trying to be. Sometimes there are characters where like I try to reenact being my grandmother or my mom, just out for like the Filipino humor. But like at the same time, it's me, and I love doing it. So that's something I realized during the pandemic is that I actually enjoy making these videos, and I enjoy what I was surprised to find is that I enjoyed the back and forth with like the comments, with like people sending me messages and everything, like positive messages, especially. I mean, they're two. Okay, maybe I'll get to that later, but like, yeah, it came from that, and I think what people appreciate is that I hear this word a lot, but they feel like my content is very authentic. It's very genuine, and like it's me. That's why I like doing it, and I guess that's especially why I grew that following.
I really love that. So, being yourself, it's a good thing to be yourself, regardless how, like what you mentioned, stupid humor, regardless how stupid you make yourself look sometimes, right? Because creators tend to do that. So, is there some kind of like secret to this organic growth, like you're talking about?
Yeah, like I mentioned, it's the authenticity that people like. What I used to wonder before was how is it that influencers find that following? How do they get that following? And just disclaimer ha, I hate the word influencer.
Me too.
It's like, diba? It's such a weird word.
That's why we
I
say
just,
content
I'd rather say
creators now.
content creators or KOLs, apparently. That's like
Oh,
the marketing term these days. You kind of look at them from a different perspective. And then you realize that, oh, the reason why I'm watching this influencer is because I can actually relate with them. And that's the same thing when it comes to like music. I can relate to their music also. Because like Eraserheads, the reason why Eraserheads is such a big band is because their music was relatable. And, stuff like, gagawin ko ng lahat, pati ang thesis mo, like funny stuff like that. But like, it's life. It's like a slice of life. So yeah, that's like the number one. If anyone were to ask me, like, how can I grow a following? I tell them, you have to show them that you're you because it's who you are anyway. And it's exhausting to try to be anybody else anyway. So that's also like a tip I would give to like teenagers, somebody like my sister, who's like getting there. So it's like you have to figure out how to be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else. You can try to follow mannerisms. You can follow like their etiquette, maybe their like jokes, how they joke, but like don't be them, be you.
Was there a specific type of content that made your entire presence blew up or something? Or was there something specific?
I don't remember. I think there was. Oh, one thing, because like it blew up on TikTok first because of Filipino mom jokes, because I could very much relate to that. And later on, when IG Reels started becoming a thing, what exploded there was the wasabi joke that I had. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's basically like, what did sushi A say to sushi B? Wasabi. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what exploded. So yeah, the following kind of
Cute.
cracked up. Yeah.
The thing about content creation is that you don't know which next content, video, picture, song will be the next big thing for you, you know? Having said that, we're talking about which ideas led you to explode and which were more successful for you. What about for someone who's just starting out? Can you give some sort of advice if you were going to start an account today? What would be your strategy?
I don't know. I would recommend not forcing yourself to be sexy.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed. People really try to be hot. And you know what? We get it. You guys are hot. But like, people don't get anything from that. Does that make sense? It's like,
Yeah.
there's no value to it to these people.
Exactly.
Whereas when you're actually looking at the camera and like talking to people, that's where it's at. From my perspective, but like some people do make it big from just being hot. Good for
Yeah,
them.
respect to them. I respect.
Respect to
We-
respect to
we
the ones who
respect.
are like naturally hot. I mean, like
I mean,
okay,
it's.
I'm good with being the funny one in the group, but like
I felt that a lot because, like, the thing about social media and Instagram, whatever, they like to push that kind of content. You know, the algorithm likes that. But the thing is, like, even if there's a constant reminder that maybe if I showed a little more this and that, my content would explode. But no, like, it takes a lot of self-control, adamance, and just really believing in what you have in your self. That I don't need that. I don't need more likes and views if I'm gonna get
actually,
that
yeah, that
through
makes sense.
something. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be
Yeah.
true. Like connecting to what you were saying a while ago, it wouldn't be authentic to yourself. So I think I'm really relieved that I'm hearing it from you. Thank you. Since we're talking about women already, Women's Month, etc. Yeah, I realize we have a lot of things in common as female musical artists who do a lot of content creation. And I want to ask you, how do you balance all these interests? Because I feel like it's one of my biggest weaknesses. Like I'm a jack of all trades, master of nothing. I mean, it's always better to be a jack of all trades than just a master of one. That's the entire quote by William Shakespeare. So, how do you balance these interests and passions?
I don't only have these things, I also have a day job, but in so like, you know, it's exhausting. Honestly, but if you enjoy doing it, then it doesn't feel like work. So the problem is when it starts to feel like work. And I just talked to my friend Asha. She does performing arts, and she was telling me like she does dance. She focuses on dance. She teaches dance. She's a dancer and everything. And I remember her telling me that it came to a point for her where it started to feel like work and it started to feel exhausting. And like I felt that, dude, because like that's the one thing I'm so scared of when it comes to music is that when it starts to feel like work, then I start to lose interest in it. But I think the one way to be able to overcome that is to continue to expose yourself to other artists. Watch a gig, go to somebody else's gig, even if you're not performing. Maybe watch somebody's dance recital, maybe watch a play, maybe watch somebody game online, just, for shits. And yeah, I think that's the one thing. It's the one way where like I don't lose inspiration or motivation to keep doing it. I'm exhausted every day, but I still sleep with a smile on my face. So it's all worth it for me.
So yeah, regardless what you do, I hope you guys like also look up to other artists because it will help your growth as well. All right. I'm
Just
sorry.
to get back to that, it's like you don't even have to focus on your art, like what you do. You could be inspired from something completely different. Like sometimes I watch RuPaul's Drag Race. Or sometimes I follow like cosplayers on like TikTok or Instagram or like, and I don't even do any of those things. But like it helps you get inspired and motivated and like kind of gets your brain running and thinking like, oh, how are these people creative and how do they work? How do their brains work? I think that's the
Yeah.
beauty of it.
So
Yeah.
fascinating, right? Like, regardless what field, regardless what subject, like, wow, humans are really capable of creating things, you know? And that's so beautiful to think about. So, I wanted to ask another thing, like, being a woman in a male dominated industry like music, of course, how do you navigate through it? Do you have like specific struggles and how do you power through?
Oh, well, personally, I don't really see it that way. I do work with a lot of guys, especially producers and sessionists, but I don't really see it. I mean, I think I would think that it were a bit intimidating working with all these men, but at the same time, like, I think it's finding the right people to work with. Like, whether I end up working with like a full group of women or a full group of men or like mixed, it wouldn't really matter to me, I think. Especially because we're all working to get something done. We're all working for one reason. And if there were ideas that clashed, like if there were any, I guess if there were any like misogynistic comments, sexist comments, or, that's when I would draw the line. But because I work with professionals, that's how you know you're working with the right people. If they're professionals, if they're very creative and they want to keep throwing in ideas to make something work, to make your music work. And in terms of like creativity, I don't think there's any difference between how men are creative and how women are creative. We're all creative as one. And I think what's nice to note these days is that women these days are allowed to be more outspoken, more creative. We're allowed to actually have our opinion on how art should work. And I think that's really great because the more ideas, the merrier. And I don't know, in terms of like the male dominated aspect, I think we could kind of try to erase that at this point, unless, sexist side comes in. But we could remove that and start to think collectively to make one goal happen. Did I make it
Yeah, I
any
really love
sense
that.
there?
Yeah, I really love that
Yes.
actually. Yeah, both men, anybody actually, we're all here for a common goal. We're all capable of being creative, of being artistic. I think it just really boils down to surrounding yourself with people who are respectable because regardless what gender, what sex you are, if they have that, tendency to be misogynistic,
And it's
it's
not
on
right.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can easily just pull yourself out of that situation, you know? So, especially in this day and age, I think we have more power to do that now. And yeah, it really boils down. I think you've been surrounding yourself with really respectful people, so that's great.
I was very lucky. I've been very
Yeah.
lucky.
Because I've heard a lot of stories as well that it didn't really go great for them. There are still hints of internalized misogyny for other people's like narratives and
Oh,
stories.
yeah.
So
I won't
that's,
deny that it still happens,
yeah.
but at the same time, I think how I view it is just that, again, I'm not invalidating that. I'm just looking at it from a different perspective. I'm just looking at like a different part of it, not from a different perspective. It's just that what I'm just saying is that it's amazing that women are able to speak out, to be as creative at the same level as men without being brought down most of the time. But to those guys who still do that, what are you doing in this industry? If you're stopping people from having these ideas or anything that helps, then what are you doing? So I'm just saying it's empowering to know that women can be creative, can be this creative and have a say in this. So
I think has a lot has changed already in the environment after years. I mean, maybe 10 years ago it would have been different. But now I think it's the era. It's a time. So if you're still afraid or you still have, like hindrances regarding what you want to do, passions, especially music or gaming, which is very male dominated, just do it.
totally agree.
All right. So now let's talk about a little bit more about the platform Gank. So
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, what's your favorite feature on Gank?
Actually, it's I like that Gank is mainly meant for like fundraising for stuff, but ironically, I like the other side of it where like you can still put like your own statuses and everything. I don't abuse it, but I appreciate it. I really appreciate it because people see your page and it's not na they're being smacked in the face with give me money. It's they can go through your page, see your thoughts and everything, and like I like that part where like I can kind of treat it like a mini blog, where like I can put in my thoughts and like why I'm trying to raise funds and everything. Me personally, as a Gank user, a Gank artist. I don't have as much of a following on Gank as other creators on the platform. Maybe because music. I this is how I view it. Out. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I see that music is a bit of a minority in the Gank platform, whereas it's cosplay and then it's gaming and all that. But I still appreciate the fact that I'm able to put statuses about it, and for me, it's not that I super need the money. It's really just, if you guys could help me, then that would be super appreciated. Right now, I see it in your question actually, but I'll bring it up now. Right now, I actually have a Gank run for a guitar. I already got a guitar though, but like I might end up using whatever's donated for like merch, Sinigang merch instead. It's really more of like a if you guys can help me, then that'll be great. But at the same time, here are my thoughts on certain things. So it's pretty nice. I appreciate what Gank is doing, actually.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned that because there is a common misconception, right? That Gank is only for cosplayers or other types of creators. But then Gank's actually for all kinds of artists who want to earn from what they love doing. And it's localized. So like you can donate with your Gcash, which other platforms don't have yet. It's really
Yeah, I find that so impressive. It's so easy.
So yeah, do you recommend Gank to other musicians and artists? So since you mentioned that majority of the people on Gank do cosplay and other things, would you recommend the platform to musicians, for example?
I think I would. I would. I haven't yet. Because I haven't, I don't know, it hasn't really come up to the conversation, any conversations with my musician friends. But I don't know, because instruments are hell expensive. Like
That's
this was actually more of like a budget guitar. The reviews are really good. This is a Yamaha Pacifica 012, and this cost me about 13,000 on a discount. But my Fender was like the Fender that I was doing racing funds for was about like 58,000, and that's like one of the cheaper options
yeah,
in terms of like quality guitars, beautiful guitars. So like sometimes people want more. People have specific things that they're trying to afford, interfaces or like microphones even just to perform. And yeah, I would recommend it. I would definitely recommend it to musician friends or even to like other artist friends.
what I noticed other musicians on Gang do, like for example, Chris R, the one we interviewed, he actually has his services on Gang. So for example, he does mixing and mastering. You can also hire for like background music for your live streams. So it's kind of like helping out other creators as well. It's sort of like Fiverr instead of, since that's still
Oh, yeah.
dollar it's still dollar, Fiverr. And I see a lot of freelancer artists go on Fiverr, but technically you can treat Gank the same way, regardless if it's music, if it's art, like you could do your commissions here instead. So yeah, I think it's really innovative and you can be creative with what you want to offer.
I also like that it accepts PayPal. So like people from out of the Philippines can also like send their donations. And I've been getting some and like I'm super appreciative of that my reach has even gone that far in the first place. So yeah, it's pretty impressive. Gank is really impressive, can I just say. Like when I was first introduced to it, I was like, damn, that's pretty cool. Okay. I don't have to give out my Gcash. The numbers are like very personal. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
personal space. So yeah, I saw your donation goal. Yeah, we talked about it already, but you also mentioned in that post that you have an on and off relationship with music, and you talked about a little bit about self-doubt. So can you share with us how you overcome this?
You know what? When I exploded on TikTok, when I hit like 100K on TikTok and IG, like before that happened, right before that happened, I was already telling myself I was gonna stop music.
Mm.
And I'm gonna get a little detailed on this because this is the reality, and I think some people should know about this because I haven't really talked about this publicly. But I actually have a throat condition, which I just learned earlier this
Oh
year,
no.
and thought that it was just something wrong with me before I hit 100K. So I thought, okay, maybe like it's just not working out for me anymore. I'm not inspired enough to do it anymore. I feel a bit alone in my music journey. And then all of a sudden, when my following hit that number and people appreciated my content, I went back to doing IG lives and people really appreciated my music. So there's a term I learned from someone. Serge, if you're watching this, thank you, because this saved my life. It's called cross-pollination. And basically, cross-pollination is either collaborating with other artists, collaborating with brands, or doing other things out of your niche. So my niche originally was in music, which is why I thought, oh, maybe I'm flopping as an online personality or something. Because I got into TikTok, because I got into IG Reels and making content and making other videos and stuff like that. People found me because it's cross pollinating into other platforms. People found me through what they appreciate, and then later on find out that they appreciate me even more by learning that I do music. So that helped me a lot. But I learned that I have that throat problem, and I thought maybe it's just because I wasn't taking care of myself. Not really. There are many other factors as to why this is happening to my voice. My voice gets hoarse immediately after singing, after like an hour, so I can't perform any longer than 2 hours. And it gets damaged to the point where it just gets lower and lower. My voice isn't actually, or wasn't this low before. It was a bit higher. So some factors that affected this was pollution or allergies from the pollution, or sometimes it's the food I ate, and sometimes it was acid reflux, because apparently when you have acid reflux, the acid goes up your throat and it affects your throat. So a whole bunch of factors came into that. So that's why I said that it's an on and off kind of relationship with music. But the fact that other people appreciate what I do and that I still love doing what I do, it, inspired me to finally make that jump, that leap of faith, and try earning money for a new guitar. I ended up getting this one because I had a gig recently and I was just like, yeah, damn it, screw it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna buy a new guitar. But yeah, I don't regret anything that I said. I don't regret trying to raise funds for a more expensive guitar, because like, it made me realize that, okay, yeah, you know what? This is it. This will be my end goal.
Do you have any specific upcoming projects or something to release soon?
I have some singles that I will be releasing this year, hopefully, and it'll hopefully finally happen because we were supposed to release it last year. Pa. I will be releasing the one favorite song that I have that I will be releasing is called "You Got to Me," and yeah, just putting the name out there in case like you guys hear it later on.
So we're gonna look forward to that, and I hope you guys also click that pre-save link.
Thank you guys for watching and for the support so far. I say this so many times, but it's one thing that I enjoy what I do, but the fact that everybody else enjoys what I do and enjoys the content that I make and appreciates the vibes that they get from it. I don't do it for the money. Though it is a plus, but I do this because it makes me happy and it makes you guys happy. So thank you so much for the support so far.
Thank you for watching this episode of Creator Chats. If this was helpful for you, make sure to subscribe and turn on all notifications so you can stay tuned the next time we interview new creators or share tips on how to earn more from your hobbies. Once again, this is Manic Pixie Danny, and I'll see you around.